Previously on QuestFest.
As Bon Bon begins to realize that Lionel had not been exactly honest with her about this caper, another group feels the draw of the bulwark. Or at least they think they do. Far away, on the northwest end of the continent, an academy formed in the name of Her Lady Forgotten to teach wizardry, witchcraft, and magic of the divine, along with the more physical elements of combat. 4 students work through what happened. Let's let them tell it, shall we?
On QuestFest. So, how we're going to play this, the Dropouts, as we are, I believe, running with here.
Not officially.
Unofficially. Officially, unofficially.
I want fans to be like, da 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 da, and we're like, that's really good. Wow.
Oh, we're going to be called the da 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 da.
Those are my favorites. I love the da 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 da's.
Okay.
We're never actually going to play D&D today, just in case you're curious.
I just missed you guys too much.
Yeah, I was going to say this.
It's been like 5 years.
That's what it feels like.
Too much energy.
So we'll actually open in
At the close.
the dining room. We already did that joke.
Yeah, but this time you said it like the Harry Potter one.
All right, I give up. Somebody else take over. I'm going to go get dinner. So, how this is going to roll is the characters will open in the White Elk Inn, where they've just arrived after a forced night of travel, and you will be recounting the tale that got you there.
Cool.
So for this session or sessions, depending on how long this takes, there is a new mechanic. So effectively, all of the players, you guys, will start each session with 2 story coins, where effectively, at any point during a given scenario, you can say, wait, that's not how I remember it. And change whatever is happening. Change, I should say, the action specific of what's happening. How this plays out mechanically is, say that a fireball erupts in front of you. One of you can say, no, that's not what happened. You're getting confused. It wasn't a fireball. It was just a fire bolt that streaked in front of us. And at that point, you would, if we were in person, pass me your coin, and I now have that. Additionally, as I am shamelessly borrowing from another system, I can pass you a coin and do the same thing, but you have to choose to accept it or not.
Interesting.
Okay.
I will say, I heavily encourage the use of this, as I will be effectively putting you in situations where if you do not have the ability to change the story, it could have disastrous results for you. We're going to be opening, as we've noted before, as the campus is engaged in a sort of warfare simulation. When we go back to Tale Our Tale, I should say. So just keep that in mind as we travel to get to where we are. But that'll be the future, or the past future, or the future past. X-Men, give us some money.
Days of future past.
Marvel, that was my plug. I believe you owe me $10 million. Thank you.
Or sponsor our podcast. Would you like those
QuestFest,
coins?
sponsored by Marvel, because whoa.
Oh my god.
They have instead sent a cease and desist.
Shit.
Much more likely.
So we begin, and you're sitting at a table in the White Elk Inn. The fire glows with a warm orange, giving the room an orange, warm tint. A large man stands behind the bar, casually wiping down glasses. It is very late, and in fact, the dining room here is to be closed soon. You've acquired rooms, and you're beginning to rehash your tale of how you got here. If you would, Cameron, please describe your character.
Hi, my name is Edwin Wilburn. I am an Azamar wizard with a slightly deviated septum and pretty bad anxiety issues. I've got... This voice is going to be so hard to keep up, damn. I'm trying.
Commit to the bit.
My skin is like light emerald green. I have like medium short length curly dark emerald green hair. 5'8", 150 pounds. Pretty nerdy and witty, but not very good in conversations most of the time.
Cute.
I love him.
And you're cute.
And yeah, Edwin's really cute.
Most important part is that you're cute.
Sitting to the right of him around this circular table, Jeep, please give us a description.
Bonjour. My name is Sheep Jerke. I am a halfling monk. I am 3'9" and 42 pounds. I came to the university to learn more about the world. I come from a very small halfling town and wanted to learn more than they had to offer. Yeah.
And to their right, a small, fey creature sits. Please describe yourself.
Hello, I'm Ran Ferngullah. I am a 2-foot fairy fighter. I have a giant axe that I love very much. I have a short pixie cut that's lavender with side buzz cuts. I have very fair skin. I'm 17 years old. My eyes are pink. And I'm from the Fey Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
Bless your heart.
Canon, Brian.
Yeah, it is. You can't stop us.
Au contraire, I can stop you very easily.
Brian's going to use
The man behind the bar begins
Yeah,
to...
Brian uses his token right now. That's not what I do. No.
Ryan uses it again and just goes, I still remember it that way, honey.
But I have infinite.
Counterspell battle.
You have two.
Oh my God.
Except one is level bazillion. The other...
I don't know. Cameron edits the podcast.
This is true.
Oh my God, you're right.
Edwin holds all the power.
The secret truth is revealed. Everything he says is right.
Well, turns out the AV club is top of the pile after all.
Please tell me that's your voice, Justin, please.
No, it's not.
Damn it.
I was doing an Edwin impersonation.
Yep. And seated at the fourth corner, or as we come all the way around, Justin, please describe your character.
Yes, my name is Thurin Enthelion of the Bastion Enthelions. You might have heard of them. 6'3", blonde hair, blue eyes, of course. Flawless skin, absolutely flawless. Not a blemish to be found, never has been, never will be. We are that pure of elves. Wearing, blue and white scale mail with, yellow accents. And just very, very prim, very proper. Fully seated in the chair, but seated in such a way that, you can tell that he really just doesn't want to be touching any surfaces at all, and he's only sitting with the minimum amount of contact.
This is like a challenge to how prissy Lionel is.
I love it. Okay.
It will be a duel.
So let us then talk about how we got here. We roll back the day's events, going back to 2 days ago in the early morning as the sun crests over the towers of the academy. A hazy glow fills the air. You're standing in a created fixture, roughly the size of 5 or 6 football fields across, and also 5 or 6 football fields in length. This massive square that has been built to hold this war game. The 4 of you have been assigned to function as what is essentially a small independent squad. You are under the charge of Sir Joffrey Godport. He is essentially, in this situation, your commanding officer. He is a year ahead of you in the school, and effectively, he is in contact with the teachers. You all are familiar with these scenarios. You know that yearly this contest is held, and it's an attempt to give the students an idea of what battle is truly like. The haze that surrounds the battlefield is actually a spell. Should you be killed via magic or standard weaponry, mundane, perhaps I should say, weaponry, the spell will prevent you from dying and instead teleport you out of the arena. The goal is different yearly. Some years, it's a very structured exercise, one that is meant to test both mental and physical capabilities of the students. This year, it is a much simpler exercise. They have built an arena, and your goal is to survive for as long as possible. The terrain changes dramatically at seemingly random. As we begin, you're on what appears to be a fixed mountainside. There is no one around you, but the shouts and the screams of battle are echoing through the chamber, so to speak. You've been here for roughly 10 minutes, and you're waiting for Godport to get back, as something will always be changing. And in this case, he's to bring instructions back to you of what your next sub-goal is. What are you doing while you wait?
So is it like we're in the thing right now, and so we need to be like defensive, I guess?
You are, exactly. You are in what appears to be a fixed, almost mountainside. The mountain, quote unquote, here, cutting you off from the rest of the arena and giving you this somewhat shallow, effectively 30 feet terrain, almost as though a bowl was scooped out. You're effectively, at the moment, safe unless someone were to come over the mountain or teleport in front of you. At this point, I do not know. Have you introduced yourselves yet?
To each other?
Yes. You were just assigned, and within minutes of being assigned, were thrust into this sort of combat situation where Godport said, "Wait for me. It has been 10 minutes thus."
Okay. And we know, like, we are a team. We have to, have to make our team last as long as we can.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Correct. That is effectively what you've been told. Is this is an arena situation. The goal is free for all, except for your squads, and the winning is simply to survive.
I imagine we would have introduced each other already.
Okay.
Which isn't great podcasting. We can introduce
No,
ourselves again.
I was going to say, excellent roleplay, guys. 10 out of 10. Nailed it. I shouldn't have even offered the option. I should have been like, all right, so now you introduce yourself.
The best thing for an audio medium is hand waving, right?
Yeah.
So what's everyone's strengths? I can do some magic and maybe help protect us while we're waiting for Joffrey to get back.
I am a good fighter.
I'm pretty strong and I have this big axe here, so that's what I can bring.
Well, I suppose I'm the healer, so I can make sure that none of you, die. I don't know. You're probably all going to go down, but I can make sure you don't die.
I'd like to not die.
Yes.
Living would be a little optimal.
All right. Well, I'll do my best then.
I appreciate your confidence in us. And thinking we are all going to go down immediately.
I didn't say immediately, did I? The one with the axe. You'll probably stay up for quite a bit. I can tell.
Well, thank you for your confidence in me, I guess.
She is rather small, though. Even smaller than me.
Small but mighty, they say.
So, the smell of smoke perforates the air, and you hear explosions just over your protective hill. And in fact, those of you who are actively looking, roll a perception check.
17.
19.
10.
17.
Yeah.
Say 19, Edwin.
Edward's very perceptive.
Nice. Okay. Anyone who was over 15 noticed streaks of blue flame colliding with this. I should note, the terrain itself looks real until it is hit, and then it explodes into almost a white dust. And that is what you see falling around you. Anyone who rolled below the 15, that is all you see is the dust falling all over you and covering you in this almost filmy, ectoplasmic sludge as it hits. And it lingers for a few moments before it begins to slowly fade away.
Damn it got in my eye. Ow. Oh.
Oh my god.
You're the cleric. You should be able to hear that for yourself.
Moments after, you hear a shrill voice coming from over the hill, from whence Joffrey had left. It's saying something that you might know if you roll a perception check.
19.
19.
Did you get the same as me again?
I did.
8.
13.
The small ones. They see. They hear.
You hear a flood of curses in a shrill, high voice. Those of you who rolled over a 15 hear at least 3 different languages, one including Giant, which sounds like a rattling of boulders, some Sylvan, and then Abyssal to follow
Brian,
it
could
up.
you show us what Giant sounds like real quick?
Cameron with the save. Yes, that's what Giant sounds like. A blast echoes and a chunk is torn from your protective glade here. And behind you, through the opening, you see smoke, and Godport rushes in, and as he does, he turns and mutters a few words, and the terrain begins to affix itself. He turns to meet your gaze. He looks haughty. Is that how you say it?
Haughty?
Haughty, yeah. Haughty, thank you. Haughty, 2x4. I'm
You're
tired too,
white.
guys. I'm sorry. It's been a long time. So, he has a sharp, pointed nose. Traditional dwarfish features.
Sorry, that's always how Brian says it, and now that I've noticed, it's very jarring. He's like, dwarf.
It's I say dwarf like a dwarf would say dwarf, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never noticed that about myself. You've just revealed that on.
Oh, it's in the very first episode.
Oh no, it's great. Now I would have never noticed. Now I will forever and be self-conscious. So thank you.
So DORF, like the Tim Conway character?
Yeah. Dorf.
Brian spits out hot tea.
Oh, me.
Now, don't waste your tea, honey. That's important.
So
I like how much we're staying on track.
Right? That's very good.
we've made it a whole
best at.
2 seconds into the planned content. We're doing it. He turns around, haughty, traditional dwarf-like features, but he is tall. It's as though he has been stretched out, and he is roughly 6'5", but built like a mountain. He has a trim, clean-cut beard with a mustache that comes down and runs straight, bringing it to a point here at his bottom of his chin. His nose is long and crooked. Basically, if Professor Snape was a dwarf and then mixed with Armstrong from Full Metal Alchemist. Yeah, nailing those 90s references, baby. None of you died. Perfect. He pulls his shoulders back, and he says, "We have our orders." And he points to one of the towers. "We are to retrieve," he puts up quotations, or his fingers to provide quotations, "medical supplies and bring them to the back lines, which means we have to make it across the field."
Oh boy.
He looks around. "I don't suppose any of you know how to cast invisibility."
No?
That's a bit advanced, isn't it?
You don't learn that until like fourth year, right?
It was too much to hope that you were advanced. Is there anything?
You know that we're underclassmen.
When I was an underclassman, I came in knowing at least third level spells.
Okay, then why don't you know how to cast invisibility?
I do, but I didn't want to have to cast it on you.
Okay, then don't. I'll make it.
We'll find a way.
What awaits us in the field that we have to cross?
Well, he turns around, and you notice that when he interacts with the terrain, a ring on his finger glows, and it disintegrates a little bit away. You're familiar with enough to know that instructors, or in this case, those who have wards or responsibilities, are given a device that allows them to manufacture or de-manufacture such terrain. As he does so, a small window opens. You see behind it what looks to be arcane hell. Bolts of fire flinging through the air, rocks and debris exploding, a trebuchet, perhaps, in the distance, launching and crashing onto the ground. That.
Okay, we could probably make it.
I'll cast my spell. I just hope I didn't have to. Turn around, please.
Why do we have to turn around?
Because I told you to.
Just because you told us to doesn't mean we have to do it.
Do you?
All right. Well, if we fight him every step of the way, it's never going to get over, is it?
I have already turned around.
You see him beginning to simmer. It is worth noting he is functioning as a superior officer in this situation. Does everybody turn around, or Ren, are you?
Oh.
Okay.
Yes.
Ren, make a dexterity save.
Well, that's an at 20, so,
Oh, dang.
Oh, no.
I believe you'll still take half damage, but I have to double check myself.
Looking things up again.
When did invisibility cause damage?
He wasn't. He got angry. I should note, everyone roll initiative.
Oh.
Oh, shit. Good Lord.
My initiative is a 21.
my initiative is 14.
3.
I beat you by 1. I got a 4.
Okay, I think this is one of the few saves that's actually not half damage. Well, Jeep, your comrade, has just disobeyed a direct order, and in retaliation, was attacked. She successfully dodged, but there is a very angry-looking upperclassman staring at you.
Ren, this is not the time to be disobeying. We need to work together to cross the field. And he is supposed to be in charge, even though he is being a little bit standoffish, honestly.
All right, only because you asked nicely. I just don't deal well with authority, and he's taken over a little bit too much of his power, if you ask me.
Geoffrey, are you going to cast invisibility on us, or do we have to cross the field by ourselves?
Roll persuasion.
17?
And Jeep over here with them good rolls.
I like this dice that Cameron got me.
You're welcome.
He simmers down fine because you asked so nicely. And as he does, he afflicts a little bit of a southern drawl, mocking Rin. But as he does so, he also flings his hand wide, and you are all made invisible.
Ooh. So we cannot see each other? Is that correct?
That is correct. No one can see anyone.
Neat. Merci, Joffrey.
Should we all chain it, hold hands, so we know where each other are?
Yes, that would be a good idea.
Holding hands sounds good. Yeah, we can do that.
I do have 50-foot of rope if we have our supplies.
You do.
Okay.
I would prefer the rope. I need my hands free.
So we take 20 minutes to find each other and tie ourselves up in a nice rope chain.
It's that,
Do we tie each other off, or should we just each, put a hand on the rope?
I think time would be better.
I think we should tie each other together.
Okay, let's tie.
we'll take effectively, say it takes around 5 minutes.
Yeah.
When you're actively trying to find each other, sonar is not so weak.
Yeah.
Godfrey, however, says, no, I'll be flying above. And he says, however, and he gives and hands down to all four of you a ring. Well, 4 rings, not one ring. That would be difficult. You slip it on, or well, perhaps I should say, do you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Edwin slips on the ring.
Great. As you're doing so, he says, this will create a telepathic bond. That way, you can contact me if you need me, and I suppose each other. I will attempt to give you cover. I recommend moving quickly.
Okay, let's go.
So,
Let's go.
as he does, he slaps the terrain and it melds itself down. As a hole opens up, he keeps it fairly small. It is roughly 5 by 6 feet, so that you can all walk through. Beyond it is, again, a stream of fire that seems to be happening from 2 distinct sides. As you exit into the battlefield, or those of you who can see through it at least, you'll see that on your right, what would be south, there seems to be an almost structure of some sort, one that was blocked previously by your sort of small mountain. It looks effectively like a large barracks with a metal overhang, good lord, with a white, sleek, fixed fixture with red crossing. On the other side, you see blue, and somebody's going to realize what I'm doing here. You'll see blue with, again, another fixed, almost barracks-looking style. In between, there are small pathways that seem to dart across the battlefield going in various directions. Your goal is northeast, which would be passing by the blue base.
Well, I only have a speed of 25, but I take off.
Yeah, everyone in this group is slow.
Awesome.
So, the real question is, you're invisible. How do you want to go about this? You can move across the terrain in a series of stealth checks, hiding basically from fixture, tree, rock, or you can effectively run, hoping that you are not caught by the fire, friendly or otherwise. Bearing in mind, and this would have been explained to you, what was cast on you is not greater invisibility. It is just invisibility. Should you commit an action that is malicious in intent or an attack, it will fade and you will be exposed on the battlefield. So how do you go about this?
I would think that the most effective way would it just be to dart and try and like use dexterity to not get hit by stuff.
So take an acrobatic approach. Kind of literally move with finesse across the battlefield.
Yes,
I say that, and like I'm not a dexterous one.
Joffrey told us that we should hurry, and so I think that we should run.
Running sounds good.
I can run if I must.
Running and no hurting, I guess. So let's go.
Okay. You've chosen athletics as your skill.
There's a little thing lights up. Bring.
So, roll me an athletics check. And in fact, roll me 3 of them.
Ooh, okay. Hello. Get to use all 3 of my
three
D20s.
Oh boy.
She has no problems.
First one's 26, second one's dirty 20, and then the third one's an 18 for Ren.
They are all above 20.
Okay. You guys
For Edwin.
are going to have to slow down or put it in the chat
Yeah,
and
yeah.
roll 20 for me, please, so that I can see them.
So demanding.
I am rolling so badly today.
I rolled worse. I got a 12 and a 6 and a 6.
Wow. So close and yet worse than mine. 12, 7, 7.
Once again, the small ones will conquer. So I imagine that we either put the 2 fighty characters in the front to take some of the damage, or we put them on the ends of the rope so that the other 2 can like trail behind us.
I think I'll take the back if you want to take the front, honey.
All right. That is why we are both so dexterous and they're just dragging along behind us.
Describe how we fucked up, Brian.
How did we do, Brian?
I'm having to do rather intense math because you rolled almost perfectly across from each other. You guys suck so badly, but they did so well that I'm actually having to do this much more delicately than I thought.
You are welcome.
So what you're saying is we're all sitting around a table at the end remembering how we died.
Yeah. Basically, you're back at the table. That's exactly.
I mean, if you want, we can literally be like, oh, I do not remember you 2 doing so badly. And then they won't. Hopefully.
That could make things easier.
No. I was just, again, I have prepared. Okay. So, your first mad dash against effectively the first third of the field culminates in you hiding beneath a large, fixed, rocky outcropping. There was no danger, though Edwin and
Thurin.
One more time.
Thurin?
Thurin. Okay. Have to slow it down a little bit for us, folks. I'm just so
sorry your clumsy human tongue can't handle it.
What it actually is technically at all times I'm restraining my southern accent. And now I can't not. And so it's just impossible. I've lost how to pronounce things. Anyway, Thurin and Edwin dangling, almost getting hit, but quite literally being physically pulled across by their more powerful and athletic comrades. On your second dash, things go a little less well. As you are rushing across the terrain, a spout almost of earth erupts in front of you, and chunks of thick, sharp rocks explode, catching both Edwin and Justin, and unfortunately, by design of a rope tied around your waist, the four of you, in a basically pounding of sharp rocks. Please roll for me dexterity saves.
Oh my god.
At 20.
I got a 19 plus 4.
Anyone who rolled
Small ones for the win.
anyone who rolled a 14 or higher will take 3 damage. Anyone who rolled lower than a 14 will take 6.
Okay, who won, Justin? Because I rolled a 4.
Cool. So technically I won because I rolled a 7. That is like the 5th 7 I have rolled. I don't know what's going on. I think my dice are unhappy because I put them all in a storage case instead of like leaving them in my normal like dice carrier. And so they're all just like rebelling.
Brian, you said we took 3
Correct.
if we passed.
Yeah, we took 3, honey.
6.
Boy,
if
oh
not.
boy. I'm super squishy. I don't like this.
6 damage?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
That level 1 though.
Oh man. All right.
That level 1 wizard, though.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, those
Ooh,
first
that
7.
bad.
So yeah, Thurin is like, he's on the ground, ears are just ringing, and he's just like, all right. Okay, sound off. Who's hurt?
Well, you were exposed. So I will say you already rolled your 3rd dice.
Oh.
So you're able to complete
Man.
No. You're able to complete your mad dash, getting you back into a small zone of safety as you are effectively about 10 yards, 30 feet from the tower of which you were directed. And you are underneath this large curled tree that seems to have grown through the ground and opened up in various places, which is where you currently are. There's a small opening that you wouldn't be able to step through, but other than that, you are surrounded by wood. Now go.
All right, sound off. Who's hurt?
Yeah, that wasn't very good.
Yeah, no, Thurin is like, he's like bleeding from his head. He's like, yep, no, that was not fun. All right, how are you feeling? You, little wizard boy, how are you feeling?
Not good. That hurt quite a bit. But I'm still standing. I guess we could keep going. How are you guys?
Well, you yanked on the rope very hard, and so my tummy is a little upset, but other than that, I think I am all right.
Yeah, my hands hurt a little bit from holding on, but otherwise I'm okay. Just a little bit of blisters.
I mean, Zoran, you look very very bad. Do you need to use a heal?
Well,
Then we're still invisible, aren't we?
Oh,
I think we
can
took-
not do a heal?
I think we took damage, which means
Or if we
would be
take
knocked
damage,
out.
then we're not invisible.
Oh.
I think that's how invisibility works, DM.
I think you're right.
I am confirming, but I am also fairly certain that's how it works.
So now we should maybe go stealthily so that you less dexterity people don't get hurt.
Incorrect.
Melee?
It is specifically until the spell ends, unless you attack or cast a spell. So you are still invisible. So I was wrong, ironically.
Do non-damaging cantrips work or count?
It's the action cast a spell. So I think
So that would count.
I think it would count.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I can't even
But we are
heal.
still invisible.
That's
Cool.
yeah, it's the question
Then
then.
he can't heal.
That's exactly.
Nope.
It's the question of do you heal or do you hope that the invisibility sees you through?
So we're gonna keep going.
Shall we do it stealthily so that hopefully you two do not get hit again with something?
I think that might be best at this point.
I'm not sure my armor is very conducive to that, but willing to give it a try.
You are quite loud, yes.
Hopefully the invisibility will counteract that too.
Yes.
So we go stealthily.
Okay. So between first off, 4 stealth checks.
4.
4?
Well,
Do we get advantage with the invisibility?
yes, and by 4 I just meant that all of you roll a stealth check.
2.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Just tell me whatever number is higher because you have advantage.
So I get disadvantage with my scale mail, so with invisibility, just a flat check.
Correct.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Well, Edwin rolled a 12 on that.
It's okay. You can use myself. I got a 19 plus 6.
Guess what I rolled? Somebody just guess what I rolled.
I bet it was a 7.
You would be fucking correct.
That is impressive.
Ren got a dirty 20.
Oh my gosh.
Oren, do you want to use my dice?
Sure, just have them overnight shipped to me. So
Okay.
with stealth, that is an 8.
God.
All right, Brian, what happens to throwing into Edwin?
I very stealthily fist bump Ren because we are kicking ass.
You missed.
I
'cause
reach
you're
up,
invisible.
I reach up 1 foot and just slightly connect.
Good.
The rest of the encounter is just the invisible sound of 2 bodies being dragged across the ground.
So what happens is that you make it to the door unscathed. Now before you, formerly, this would be the entrance to one of the mage specialty towers. Here specifically, they would teach divination. It is the tallest tower on the campus. However, currently, it is converted. It is short and squat. Directly in front of you, a square-like, almost, I should say, rectangular building with a flat roof that then builds onto another and then another, the same height as before, but almost transformed as those steps you could step up or down. The door itself is made of what looks to be wood. It is dark in hue, and there is a large keyhole sitting in the middle of the door. And to the left and right are 4 different runes.
And this is where we need to be?
Yes, inside are the supplies that you were told to gather. Through your link, the voice of Joffrey says, "Find a way in."
Okay. Can Edwin roll like investigation on the runes? See if he can deduce kind of what's going on there.
Or our Arcana would work as well.
Oh, cool. I'm probably better at that. I am much better at that. Oh, I'm exactly the same at that. Yay, good rolls. That's a 25.
Excellent. It is easy for you to recognize these 4 symbols as a broken apart, I should say, or cut in quarters of open. You recognize that you could pretty easily arrange these to create essentially the spell.
Okay, cool. I do it.
With little issue, you immediately, quote unquote, knock on the door. The spell goes off, and the door opens.
I knew we brought you for something.
Yeah, that was pretty fancy there.
Well done.
Thanks. So let's go in and try and get the medical supplies.
As you enter, well, line order for me.
Sheep?
Ran.
I'm in the back.
Yeah, Thurin will take third then.
Okay. Jeep and Ren, as you enter, the room itself is much smaller than it is before, roughly 15 feet across and maybe 10 feet wide. It's like a narrow hallway. At the end, you see two sets of stairs on the left and right side. The room is almost colorless, not white, but colorless. As you step in, the ground changes color, and whatever color your boot was drains of color.
Ooh.
I don't think that's supposed to happen.
What if I am barefoot?
It takes on the color and hue of your flesh. Your flesh momentarily takes on the color. Well, I should say goes colorless, but very quickly retains its color.
Edwin, do you have any idea what that is?
This seems like some sort of illusion to freak us out.
Can Edwin roll our Arcana to see what the heck that is?
Sure.
13.
You're unsure of any specific spell that would be causing this effect. It does seem as though likely to be transfiguration or illusion, but you're unable to determine which without further investigation.
Can we note if we are speaking telepathically through the rings?
Yes.
I would like to speak telepathically through the rings to my compatriots here, and
Perfect.
And say, guys, I think that this might be some sort of spell so that someone could see, even if someone was invisible coming in. So maybe we want to try and create some sort of diversion.
All right, what would you suggest then?
Does anyone have just things we could toss to the other side of the room? Try and create not a clear path.
I have darts that I could shoot.
I have hand axes.
I have a crossbow with some bolts. We could try that.
Why do I have a little bag of sand?
Probably came in one of your packs.
It's in my adventuring gear.
Like components?
Probably.
This is in character. He's going through his pack and he's like, why do I have this? Where does
Yeah,
this
so
come from?
I guess Brian could take a couple little small pinches of sand and try and toss it to other parts of the room.
Yeah, absolutely.
But everyone, I have a little bit of sand. I'm gonna try and just toss this around. I'm trying to create, not a linear path so that maybe they can't see exactly where we're stepping. Does the Brian, does the color stay on the floor that it takes from whatever touches it? So if we stepped, then
It does. You're not sure how long. You can see it begin to fade, depending on how long you stand there. But let's say, even if you were there for about a minute, you would see the edges begin to fade. But it's at least a minute from after you touch it.
Mhm.
okay.
I think that we should just press forward. I think it is just to freak us out, perhaps.
Okay, well, for sure. Let's. If everyone thinks we should keep going, we should keep going.
We can always keep going, and then you can throw those sand as you go, kind of like Hansel and Gretel.
Mm-hmm.
Just confuse them.
Yeah, I'll try and
Like what?
scatter the path a little bit as much as I can.
So you are deliberately, just to be clear, attempting to highlight tiles that you were not on, and then step onto other ones that you've also put sand on, but kind of creating varying pathways, not just coat the floor. You're attempting to specific.
I just want it to specifically look like there's no linear path, like
okay, like as though several people were walking in whose boots were the color of sand.
Yeah, walking around and yeah.
Okay, you get effectively halfway through the room. So you are at 10 feet. And you hear the twang and then see a bolt fire onto one of the tiles you have thrown sand on. As you were not in that pathway, presuming you're all following the same one, which I should have established beforehand, but you avoid being gutted or shot in the gut, I should say. The two doors at the end, now that you're halfway, you can see as you get closer, there does seem to be a faint, blurred line between them. Some sort of dark coloring. This is fairly basic magic. You know it is locked, but you're not sure how. There is no evident keyhole. But you've seen this in other areas of the academy.
Edwin, I suggest you continue throwing your sand since that seems to be working. And also, do you have a way to open magical locks?
I can keep doing the sand, but I don't know any spells to break locks yet. Anybody else know how to do that?